Are we live?
You guys are live.
Oh.
So wait, can we start talking now?
Yeah.
I mean, we are talking.
Okay, awesome. Well, what's today's date?
I mean, I don't think we need to do any sort of intro. We'll just,
No.
you know.
But what is today's date? That
It's
we can
22nd.
record.
It's February 22nd, Friday, 1:03 p.m.
Perfect. So this week was, I feel we always, time flies for us, for sure. So we're going to recap how our week went a little bit and what certain things came up this week. So yeah, last week's was pretty awesome. Thank you guys for all you guys took the time to actually, to listen
People
to it.
really got offended by the Dole Whip.
I know,
thing.
which is really weird. I mean, whatever. I was never more of the. We were more of the
not that
beignets. Like, look, we're not hating on some of the treats they have there, but for
It
us,
was an example.
yeah, we're like all about the beignets.
We didn't even get them, though, actually, this time.
I know. Well, because usually by the time we go, it's closed or there's like a super, super long line.
I know.
It's pretty bad.
Okay.
Anyway, how did our week go? How did the week start?
I don't even remember
That's
at all
what's so
what we
crazy.
did on Saturday and Sunday.
No. So Monday was great because you got those 2 items you got from City Home. We got them hung up. Miranda is an amazing designer. I love it. I really love it.
Amazing.
I love her style, I love her taste. I learned so much from her because I used to be like, I thought my taste, I don't know. I just didn't have any taste from what I've gathered.
Many people don't know that that's what I went to school for, was interior design. And then what I realized, because I graduated pretty young, like I was still like maybe only 20 years old or whatever, I realized that the people that can afford an interior designer are not nice people a lot of times. Like they're super like,
They're mean. And
yeah,
they're really...
I mean, obviously there are great people that hire interior designers too, but in general, they're kind of like high maintenance, like bossy. And I was super young, so they were even that way more to me. So I never really used it other than like my own home or like my gym back in the day or whatever. And I've moved so much that I haven't ever like bought like a whole home worth of furniture, like really like painted and everything. So this house has been really fun.
It has, and I highly support it just because, I mean, it is our first home and it's our home now. Like we both, have got, we've moved multiple times, Miranda a lot actually, but now has been the time to get like certain things custom from Etsy and still at a reasonable price. And we'll take a trip like every 2-3 months to this City Home place in Portland where they have just unique items.
They have like vintage stuff, or they work with like really cool companies. Like obviously I love Magnolia Home stuff, and that's where like I've gotten some rugs or like that big mirror we ordered from that store because they had it. But yeah, it's fun. I like unique items.
Yes, they're very unique. And she had posted a couple of them on her story, so if you guys want to see what those look like, if you caught them, you would have caught them on Monday. She did post them on her story, which is really cool.
I remember though, I remember your style in your bedroom.
There was no style. It was mostly what was affordable at Costco. And then just really letting the lifespan of that item just really go for it.
Do you remember the black drapes that you had?
They weren't even black anymore. I think they were like...
they were like sun bleached.
They were sun bleached.
They were like purple, basically.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. But I didn't care. I was like, whatever.
But I remember when I got new bedding in my apartment, and you were like, what?
I didn't even know what a comforter was.
You didn't know what a comforter was, and you didn't know why I had so many pillows, and then you got super jelly, and you wanted new bedding, and then we went and got you new bedding. And
it just looked so nice. I was like, wow.
Yeah. For
sure. So that was Monday. We got that stuff that she purchased, like hung up, which was really cool. It's really cool to see it like come to life in our home. And just little proud moments and stuff.
I feel like we've had a lot of phone calls and random meetings and stuff that have like, I feel like it's been like constant this week more than normal.
It really has. I mean, we've had a lot of things up and coming for street parking stuff. Definitely like making sure we plan Vegas really well because there's like 180 people coming, which
I think it's more than that now.
It's insane. That's so many people. So making sure that we're, flowing really well with that, making sure everybody's on the same page, the team's organized. We're making different changes. Just business things, right? Like lots of phone calls, important phone calls, trademarking, street parking. Now is the time.
Wait, but I thought we only posted workouts. Don't you just post a workout, like write it down on a whiteboard and post a picture of it, and that's it? That's the whole thing.
That's all it is. It's just workouts.
I could do that.
And then I would say, Jaime, was there anything else that you remember at the beginning part of the week?
I mean, we took Knox to the doctor.
That's right. Knox had his 18th month checkup.
Yes, he did. He was 24 pounds, I think exactly.
Yeah.
And they said he was perfect height, weight, and head circumference. They do head circumference. They should do that for adults.
I know, right?
Can
So
you
that
imagine?
was good. I mean, I would say the only bummer thing about doctor's visits, it's like the shots and stuff, because you just, it hurts because they really just full cry mode, right? But then
I got a sense too when we walked in this time that he knew where he was, because he was walking and we opened the door, and as soon as we got through the door and he like saw the doctor's office, he stopped walking and like stopped and just like dead in his tracks. So I was like, oh crap, he knows what's going on here.
Yeah, but at what point do you get to a point where you don't cry when you get shots? You know, because I remember
I mean, there's still lots of adults that still do. So.
Yeah, there really are. People can't even stand the sight of shots, actually.
I usually look
I laugh hysterically, which makes it even weirder because then I look at it and the needle's shaking.
But you do that with emotional trauma and pain too. Like when we saw Coco in the theater and you were laughing hysterically when the grandma was like dying. Everyone's crying and Julian's laughing to the point where it was embarrassing me.
I know it was actually. I just couldn't. I
was like, shh.
Touch into that emotional part of me, of the crying, because I was gonna hit. Once, if I would have cried, I would have literally, really bawled out.
If you guys haven't seen Coco,
go watch it.
But watch it alone, or like in a space where the crying's okay.
Just allow yourself to just be free of your emotions.
Yeah, because it gets real deep. I tend to look away, like, because I've had my blood taken recently a few times, and I just, as long as I don't look at it, it's cool. I don't like looking at it.
So that was good. I mean, that was good too. And then the awesome thing about the most recent times he's gone is that he'll go and he doesn't really have big side effects anymore from the shots.
No, he didn't get like all
I would say the
like
first visit,
sick or anything.
The first couple visits, like he had the flu and it was just really. I mean, as first-time parents, like you get so worried anytime they get sick or they have any kind of rash. You're like, oh my gosh, Google.
Don't
you
Google.
Do exactly. That's always.
But I do. But yeah.
Yeah. But now, like the last couple times, he's been great. Yeah, he has a little bit of pain and bruising in the little his leg and stuff. But,
what happened?
Yeah, but he's been doing so good. You know, he's been joining a lot more and like kind of copying us in the gym. Kind of like creating his. Yeah, it's just really cool to see his little growth.
Yeah, he's been really fun all week this week. No issues with the little guy. I would say just taking him and getting him the shots was the only thing.
Yeah.
So then on Wednesday, you went to...
oh, that's right. This is where it steps up. This is where the week kind of like ramps up a little bit.
You went to the chiropractor.
Yeah,
what happened?
I've been having a lot of lower back... like my back gets so tight in the mornings, at nights. It kind of bothers me. I'm uncomfortable with it. And I knew it was happening during competition season. Like we used to lift all the time.
So what you're saying is it's been hurting for years, not just like recently.
It has been hurting for years, definitely. And so it just, back in the day as an athlete, you don't want to go to get checked out because, if the doctor sees it, they're going to tell you should stop. And then you just don't want to. You're like, I've been kind of living with it. I think I'm okay. You kind of just suffer the consequences.
You just want to like live in the ignorance of it.
100%. And what athlete doesn't go through that, really?
I still do that.
Exactly. So finally, like, we got into a point where, we're at Disneyland or certain things. I'm holding Knox or I'm doing box jumps and I'll jump down and then like my back just like shocks. It's really bad. I'll have to take a moment to literally just pause and be like, what just happened? So finally, and then Miranda, same thing. She's been having a lot of like tightness in her shoulders, her traps, her neck.
Yeah, I like know why mine's like that, and I know what I have to do, but it's still annoying. Yes.
Yeah, and then a lot of times I didn't go to a chiropractor back in the day because I didn't have insurance because I was irresponsible.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it was for sure. Which doesn't make sense because it's like, you have to pay a tax penalty anyway.
You didn't even have insurance. Yeah, the whole time you were competing, you had no health insurance.
I had no health insurance, which is really bad. But anyway, so yeah, learned the hard way, paid the tax penalty, and I was like, well, this tax penalty was if I would have just paid month to month health insurance, I would have been fine. But anyway, ignorance was the biggest thing. I think even if I would have had it, I don't think I would have, and even if I would have gone, I don't think I would have done anything about it. So
no, you guys just ignore it.
You ignore it. But now to the point where I'm like, okay, I need to really get it checked out because I'm like carrying Knox or something.
You're almost 30, so let's...
I got to start looking at something if it's going to affect me in the long run, and now's the time. So we went to go get checked out. I got x-rays and, your spine has discs in between it. to protect it and to cushion it. And I'll give the image to Jaime so he can kind of upload it, and he gets like a little flash image. Bottom line, I have no disc in my lower spine.
I would say you have a very thin disc.
Let me just put it this way. It's like a fluffy pancake. No, it's like
a crepe.
It's no, yeah, exactly. It's like here.
Tortilla.
It's like having a filet mignon and then presented a crepe. That's what the disc is looking like now. And
it's very thin.
It's very
on the very
thin.
bottom, so where your sacrum meets your first vertebrae, right there. It's very thin. It's like a little line.
It is. Again, once you guys will see the image, you also see what I'm talking about. But it's like, bottom line. And then I asked him, I was like, well, shoot. Like, luckily the chiropractor that we went to, he has a lot. He's a CrossFitter himself, and he follows Miranda and myself, and he follows Miranda's journey and everything. He's watched her documentaries. He's followed me as well. So it's kind of awesome being able to kind of talk to him about, moments in our life where we felt certain things. So anyway, yeah. Bottom line, I'm screwed.
You were sad.
I was kind of sad. I left there and I was like, dang, this sucks. I'm like, I'm about to be 30 this year and I have like no disc.
None at all.
Which explains like when I'm holding Knox and he's only going to get heavier and like.
Well, it was so thin that like, and obviously like I've looked at x-rays of this sort of thing before, so I kind of know what to look for, but it was obvious enough that you sent me the picture and you didn't even have to explain like what it was. I was like, oh, well, you have no disc.
Yeah. It was just a bummer. And so I asked him, I was like, well, hey, like, how do you get that? I mean, what can you do? And he's like, honestly, like, stem cells may be an option to look at. But in the meantime, like, you just have to like let your ego go and make sure you don't lift heavy or do things that are gonna. And luckily, as an experienced athlete, I know what I need to do to sub and modify. That's why even in the street parking workouts, like, I'll take things from the hang and or just make adjustments with dumbbells, so like puts me in a better position, so I know that I don't have to live with the discomfort of being super tight waking up in the morning. And actually, another thing that affects it, and I told him, I was like, the bed that we currently sleep on is like a firm mattress, which we had Ananda send us like a mattress, and anytime that's like a medium firm, so we're gonna switch out our bed too, because I've slept on that one before and it felt great.
Yeah.
So doing as many little things as possible to kind of help it, but it's just
all that lifting.
Yeah, it was all that lifting at the time.
Well, and so I think it's like kind of cool. I was happy that he didn't suggest that you get surgery because, I mean, he's not a surgeon, so he has nothing to gain from you having surgery. But a lot of times if you have surgeons look at that stuff, they'll be like, oh, yep, you need surgery. And almost every adult that's been involved in any sort of like physical sport, probably almost any adult even that hasn't, will have something that they could be like, oh, well, this disc or that disc, and you need surgery because that's how they make money. Mm-hmm. But I like that he didn't suggest that. And then the other thing that he didn't suggest is like, oh, stop working out, because a lot of times doctors will say that.
Exactly.
And then what happens is you get weak around. So now you have no disc and you have no muscle to protect what is there. And that's where you really mess yourself up. So like you said, like modifying and staying as strong as possible without aggravating it. And then maybe we'll look into the stem cell stuff too to try to regrow it. Yeah, but that's like
down the road for sure.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, like I said, I'm not going to be, doing things irritated. Like, I'm going to do the butts and guts workouts that we have, which is just, we're really going to strengthen the glutes and the core, which is what's surrounding it, and put me in a better position just I can just function as best I can. And it's going to be all up to me. And that's the thing. I think that luckily we have that discipline but a lot of people don't. And I think this is where like it's one
a lot of people are all or nothing. So they'll be like, whatever, I'm just going to keep training, and then they hurt it. Or they're like, oh, whatever, I'm broken, so I quit. Mm-hmm. Completely. And that's really not realistic for like your whole life to like never have something you have to work around or whatever. So yeah. So anyway, that was the news on Wednesday. Well, so then the next day it was my turn to go to the chiropractor, but you just came with me because he told you that he wanted to tell you something else that he found. So you came with me, and I went, and I already know like what all my issues are. Just really misaligned. Yeah, well, my neck, obviously, I have my C2 and C3 are fused together from the car accident, and I have no disc in that. Yeah. It's like been replaced by like some artificial disc. Mm-hmm. And so I knew that. My neck's always tight, my traps are always tight, and I have like shoulder pain from all of that stuff being tight, but I know what it's from. And then for years, I've had problems with my hip on the same side that I hurt my knee, and I've always assumed that I messed up like some sort of like weird rotation in my pelvis or something from the accident, which in my appointment he definitely confirmed. Like my whole spine like curves to the right, and my right hip's like super high.
Yeah. But luckily she has beautiful discs.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
They're like filet mignons.
We should see if we can get a copy of my discs versus yours, because mine, if you were to be like, look at these discs and tell me who's 36 and who's 29.
I know. Yep.
My discs are pretty nice.
Yeah. Obviously, like, here's the thing. You know, if I look back at it, like, I don't regret anything that I've done, obviously, because it's put us in a position that we're in now. But if I were to look back, if I would change a little bit of something, would be like maybe all the lifting and maybe focus on like working out on my own and doing things.
Well, you were so strong. You didn't need to be stronger to do what you were doing.
Yeah.
It was the program that you were following with the people you were following it with.
Yeah, so it was just unnecessary, and I should have, like, you know, mostly taken charge and realizing that I needed to focus on my weaknesses at the time, and lifting was just not one of them. But at the end, you know, luckily we're in a position where if I explore the stem cell route, then we can do it, thank goodness. But again, for those of you guys who are, because a lot of, I mean, think about it, we were talking about this, we're like, pretty much any athlete out there in any sport.
Oh yeah, there's injuries, common injuries in every single sport.
Exactly. Like basketball players face, there are certain injuries. Football players are just wrecked all around.
They're broken.
They're broken, 100%.
But like pretty much any girl that, if you make it through like 4 years of college playing soccer and you've played soccer your whole life, you will tear your ACL as a female soccer player. Like it's just like,
you know, when you're,
it's so common.
Yeah, when you're a competitor and you just like do something like the repetitiveness of certain things and the volume and the
runners are broken.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right?
Swimmers have like bad shoulders a lot of times, because I know like the swimmers that I've trained with, they had like really, you know, some shoulder issues. It's just repetitive motion. Yeah, like you're saying, that's every sport has it.
Yeah. So
when's your birthday?
September 15th.
I mean, it's going to be an ego thing, right? Because I mean, I feel like the hardest part is the ego thing, because you're going to turn 30. You've got maybe insecurities about this dad bod going on. And then
There's no
and I'm just speculating. But
definitely
just throwing it out there. Just
definitely speculating.
But now you can't lift heavy things. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Do you feel like you have to prove something?
Oh my gosh, the what coming up? I'm sorry.
With the
I'm pretty sure it's here.
The what?
The Open is here.
They announced it last night.
But let me just put it this way, right? Like, there was no reason back in the day. Like, this is what I was doing. I was doing
You were lifting so much.
7x5 at 435 pounds back squat. 7 sets of 5 reps.
Why?
Why did I need to do that? Was it impressive? Yes. Because now I put 400 pounds on my back and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to fall over. Right? And so, like, is it a cool feeling to feel that fit? Yes. But again, now, you know, being in the position that I'm in, I can start, you know, these are all things too that people that are older than you always will tell you at the time, hey, just, you know, really watch out. Like, I know you're young and this, but now that, you know, fast forward and I'm still young, right? But experiencing all this, I'm like, dang, right? Like, so this is one thing that I'll do. And same thing with Miranda and myself. Like, luckily, when it comes to Knox, because seeing all that stuff, it might be easy for him to get sucked into certain things that, you know, he like explores worlds in, but giving him the best guidance and making him understand certain things. But yeah, and so that was our session with the chiropractor.
Well, no, not all of it, because
that's right. Gosh, dang it.
So I kind of knew, I was like expecting all this stuff with mine, because I've had I did have insurance, so
yes, you were responsible.
So I've been to doctors and chiropractors and things like that, which is probably why my discs are so much better than yours.
I just used Vicks and
just put some Robitussin on it.
That's all I did.
Some icy hot?
I just icy hot and I was good to go. I'm done.
So he was like, Julian, I'm glad that you're here, because I want to show you what the other thing that I found. What did he say?
My back's broken.
Yeah, so like one of the like, you know how like your spine has
stable.
Like there's the round part that your spinal cord actually goes through. If you break that, that's what I broke with my neck. If you break that, that's super dangerous, because it could like cut into your spinal cord. But then there's like the little tail that comes off the back of it. Julian's bottom vertebrae is missing the tail. It's gone. And he's like, so you definitely broke it at some point.
You want to see it? I'll show him.
So yeah, he broke off the tail the spinous process is what I think it's called, but don't quote me on that. And it's gone. And he's like, it's not dangerous or anything. Like, you don't need to do anything about it. But can you think of when you broke that? And Julian was like,
There's like, this is what the spine's supposed to look like. And then there's that bottom piece. You see that disconnect?
It's supposed to be like the tail's gone.
So not only do I have no disc there, but I also have that broken.
It's supposed to like.
It's supposed to be one piece. Yeah.
Like a little boop?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the funny thing is, though, actually, I don't even think we've told Jaime this. The funny thing is, he was like, can you think of a time? Because you would feel that.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Like, it's not dangerous or anything, but that seems like something you would feel. And he was like, can you think of anything? And Julian's like, no, not really. And then kind of like wheels were turning. And, you know, he wrestled in high school and stuff. So we were like, did you ever get like slammed weird or overextended or something? And what was the time that you think it might have been? Because this is when your back started hurting.
I really do think that it was that time, and I'll tell you why.
Well,
so
in
2015, the CrossFit Games, the first year I made it, there was a 1 rep max clean and jerk. And I literally was going for like a 300-pound clean and jerk, and we were so wrecked completely. Like our triceps were completely gone. We all felt like we had rhabdo because of Murph and the heat and the sun. It was just a horrible year.
Saturday.
It was on Saturday.
Did you guys go Saturday afternoon with this?
It was like around 3 o'clock.
Okay, so this was after.
It was for sure.
Okay.
So, man, like I'm going for this 300-pound clean and jerk, and on a normal given day, that's like no problem. I'd move that no problem. But, man, the jerk to go overhead. So I go for the jerk, and I missed it because I couldn't lock out. And so I re-racked it, and then, which you don't do. And so not only did I re-rack it, but then I went.
That's like one of those things that CrossFitters get shit for from the 100%. Olympic lifting community is for doing stuff like that.
So I re-racked it, and then I went for the jerk again, and I got it. But here's the problem is that it turned into like a strict press, bench press kind of deal because of how much I didn't actually drop under the weight. It was more like pure strength. So I think what happened was the overarch really like that's what wrecked it. Because not only I felt for literally something didn't feel right immediately after I dropped that weight, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was not good. I would say like 2 to 3 months after that, my back, something felt completely sketched out. And I was like, okay. But again, I didn't have insurance. I was like, you'll just kind of push through it.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. No problem. I'm 25. It'll grow back. But no, I think that's definitely what it was, which is funny because why is that funny?
Well, so that was the exact event that I tore my ACL.
I mean, it's
exact
not funny,
event on the same day.
Yeah.
What if we were on the same platform? It could be. We should look for the footage.
You guys were out in the field, though.
Oh, yeah.
We were in the tennis stadium.
No one cares about the team's land. But literally, I'm like back. We don't know each other. Mm-hmm. I'm back in the back with my torn ACL, like trying to convince the CrossFit Games to let me wrap it up so we can continue. Meanwhile, Julian's breaking his back.
Yeah.
It's the real true beginning of our love story, I would say.
Absolutely. So anyway, just a little fun little story for you guys there. And then, but yeah, I guess there was like Thursday also happened to be, which was yesterday, the
CrossFit Games. Yeah, they announced 19.1.
They did. And there's been a lot of people, we'll share our opinion on this for a little bit because, you know, CrossFit has been a big part of Miranda and my life. A lot for Miranda. It's been like how many years now? Like 10.
So I started CrossFit in 2007. It'll be 12.
12 years. So she's going on 12 years of being part of her life. And that's a big part of life right there. For me, I would say I'm going around like 7, 8 years.
How old were you?
22.
So like, yes, 7, 8 years. Exactly.
Yeah, I was 22. Yeah. So, you know, this is the first year Miranda and I are not participating in the Open.
Yeah, I mean, I might enter my scores. But I don't know, because then I have to record it and like do the whole thing.
No, you're not going.
I have open scores for every year. I've competed every year.
That's great. That's really nice.
Since the inception. The only year that I did not participate in the CrossFit Games season was 2007 because it was the first one.
Well, if you choose to do it, then I support you. I'm not going to do it. Just because, I don't know, I feel like a big disconnect myself personally from, you know, CrossFit in general, the community of that CrossFit, like, competitive world. Because, like I was saying on our FaceTime Friday earlier today, I went into CrossFit a little bit differently than Miranda did, actually. I went to it because I went in 2012. My brother took me to the CrossFit Games in Carson, and I was really impressed by these athletes. And I was young. I was like, I really like competitive stuff. So I went to a CrossFit gym I want to make it to the CrossFit Games.
Hold on. You rolled into Valley CrossFit first, right?
Yes.
What did you say? You were that guy. I know
I was.
You probably still had the like little steps shaved into the side of your head, and were like, "I'm here to win the games." I could see it.
The girls hated me back in the day. They really hated me.
What did you say?
Nothing. I mean, I just kind of let my so when it came to lifting and stuff like that, I was
No, I
really
mean
bad.
like day one when you rolled in there. What did you say to introduce yourself?
Myself, and you're judging me right now, actually. So here's the deal. I went in, but it was my cockiness after workouts that were like didn't have anything to hold me back because I had pretty good endurance actually.
Because you were a wrestler.
I was a wrestler, so it was anytime I had overhead squats or pull-ups, I would just get destroyed, and that's when like I had to really humble myself.
Yeah.
But for me, I took that upon myself it was a challenge. So again, it took me finally 2-3 years before I got to where I was like felt confident in my competition. But now that I just actually checked myself out of that, it doesn't have as strong of a meaning for me. But that doesn't mean I don't have a strong meaning for what functional fitness and CrossFit is for working out as a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. That I've grown to really, really love and appreciate. And I think for me personally, that's the most functional, or that's the most effective way to actually train, keeping intensity, making it so you don't have to spend hours in the gym. And it's just the results I get paid off for me. And I'm a big believer of it. So yeah, I think this year is just, we're so distant. I'm so distant from it. We're so focused on our community. I love what's going on with us, street parking. And I think for me, street parking has kind of formed into its own, its own category, right? It's not, people are like, oh, it's like CrossFit training. It's like, oh, I mean, sure, but it's kind of evolving more. It's just street parking is street parking, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's so. Yeah, I think just for me, I just have a disconnect, and I don't really care.
I know I'm way more sentimental than you are.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I was way, way, way deeper into
you
CrossFit
were.
as far as like HQ is concerned than you were.
Exactly. So
yeah, your only like interaction with HQ is when you had to go to a seminar or you came to the games. Like that's it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but go ahead and share your experience.
I mean, the only reason that I would do it is because I do have scores. So I have scores from when I was pregnant. I did it and I entered my scores and I went like after I hurt my knee or like, so there are scores and I'm not, actually I was telling Molly this morning because she was talking about how she beat me on the workout basically. And she was like, yeah, but it's only because I knew what you got. And I was like, no, Molly, actually a year ago when Knox was only 7 months old, I was for sure fitter than I am right now. Like this whole like mom business owner like thing, it's like super real. And I was like, you have a lot more CrossFit Games left over than I do. Like mine was 4 years ago, yours was 2 years ago, Molly. Like, so yeah, I'm not like trying to like beat my old scores or like place higher. Although since the registration is down, I might be able to like place pretty good compared to last year.
Yeah, very true. So, yeah.
There's been some funny like memes about that. Yeah, it's more of just because I'm super sentimental about it.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that as far as like people ask us all the time, like, well, do you think I should sign up? It's like, well, you know what, guys, like it depends on like where you're at in your life. Like for sure, if you are still part of a box and you're still doing street parking, but your box has a good vibe and they're all about it.
They have
I think
like
it's
fun, like
they have a cool thing set up because back in the day we used to do like a Friday Night Lights, like we used to have food, pizza, all that stuff afterwards, and that was fun, right? So why not? Like sure, but. For those of you guys who are by yourselves and you're like, oh man, don't hold on to glory days, right? If you feel like you just don't care, if you want to, like, if you don't care where you stack amongst the world and things like that, then it's fine. They don't feel pressured to sign up for it. Like, still do the workouts and get it done. But I know a lot of people get angry because they put $20 down. Like, why did I do this? It's like, hey, like, you're an adult. Take responsibility for your decisions. Like, don't get angry at anybody else.
I mean, we've all been to bad movies that were like, why did I just pay for this movie?
Exactly. So, I don't know. I think, if you're about it, if you're in a position, then great, do it. But don't be so hard on yourself.
I have been saying this, though, and what we've been talking about is those people that are angry or the athletes that are like, oh, my gosh, like, you ruined my life. Like, my aspiration was to win the CrossFit Games and now we don't even have regionals and that's how I got my sponsors and this and that or whatever. I get annoyed of that, to be honest, because like the way that I have explained it a couple times is CrossFit is a business. They are not your parents. So it's not like you're the 18-year-old kid and they're like, sorry, not paying for you to live here anymore. Like, you're on your own. Like, they're not responsible for your career and for making you famous by hosting regionals so that you can get sponsors and get more Instagram followers. Like, it's not their responsibility to build a business
It's like
for
you're bummed out because you want your parents to show up to a soccer game at regionals if you make a team or something. Like,
yeah, it's like they're a business, and whether you agree with their business decisions or not, which they seem a little crazy right now, and they seem like a lot of people are disagreeing with it, which is fine.
Yeah.
But don't take it so people are taking it really personally. Like, it's and like, you also, let's have some appreciation for what they have brought. Like, maybe they're like kind of doing some weird stuff right now, but all of us train completely different because of what CrossFit brought, and I have the amount of Instagram followers that I have in street parking and everything because of what I learned from CrossFit. And so I just think that there's that, it's really funny that people are taking it so personal, and it's almost like CrossFit owes them something. They don't have to they could shut down the whole business tomorrow and that's it. Sorry. The affiliate owners, I can see it a little bit more, but like just athletes and stuff, come on guys, you're being ridiculous.
Yeah. So,
and it's an opportunity for someone else to be like, hey, I can run a kick-ass competition. Let me do it instead. So whoever wants to do that, there's people that will follow it. So it's an opportunity. People should see it as an opportunity, like you said.
Yes.
The thing is, I mean, if you're that good, it doesn't matter what they do. Like,
Exactly.
I mean, if they don't remove the games, but they change the format, if you're that good, the cream always rises to the top.
It really does. And I really think that, I mean, sometimes the loudest people are the people that do local comps and are trying to qualify to just get to regionals.
They just
right?
want a free bag of protein and like a pair of nanos.
Yeah, and it's just like, man, like it's so
So
true.
bad.
Like from seeing it from behind the scenes, like you see it, like, and it's like so crazy and ridiculous. But people set goals. Look, they must have set goals because they didn't have other goals going on. So they really put their heart and soul into it. So they got their feelings hurt, and now they're making a lot of noise. But hey, you're a freaking adult. Like, why don't you put this as much attention? Me and Miranda talk about this all the time, and same thing. Like, we put as much attention as we used to do competing now into our business, and
that's why we don't care. Like, we're not that bummed out about it. We're just like, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah, like CrossFit gave us an opportunity to do what we did, and we're doing it, and now we're identifying ourselves by having our own business and what it is, and our business is what we stand for, and
at some point in your life, maybe and I feel like you're still learning this now, but at some point, and we've had to like teach our members this, you can't be motivated to work out solely for the opportunity to be better at it than someone else. Like,
exactly.
At some point you have to work out just because it's good for you. Like, you can't live your whole life, and hey, masters competitors might need to learn this, like, just work out for yourself.
Yeah.
Not because people think you look cool or because you're beating someone on the leaderboard. Like, at some point you're gonna have to find motivation in yourself.
Yeah, and I think that goes, that happiness comes across the board for a lot of things, right? Like that internal happiness. When you do things for yourself and, accomplishing things for yourself, that's when you're going to gain the most happiness in a lot of things, like, I'll have moments where, I'm in the garage and, I'll do a great workout and I feel great about it and good.
I actually know someone, I'm not going to name names, but one of the people on our NorCal team, he's the type of person that he will only go hard or do things like all out if it's to beat someone else. And I'm not talking about Jason.
Yeah, that's not good, right? There's just some internal issues going on at that point, and go see a counselor, a therapist.
Yeah.
Which is fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
Yes.
I had to go to a counselor or therapist to get rid of a lot of insecurities I had, for sure.
Everyone should.
Everyone should. You need to identify what those things are in order for you to become a better person, for sure.
I was really surprised. It was your idea for us to do that.
Hell yeah. I knew I had an issue. I just ran away from it.
Yeah.
100%. So once I realized, I was like, okay, the only way to, excel in life is to face these things. And so, yeah, we hired some help, and it paid off big time, actually. So not only when it comes to working out in general, you have proud defining moments and stuff, but even things in life and every day, being okay with, like, before I used to always want to do something every weekend, like, even if it didn't have to be a bar or something, but it had to be every weekend we had to do something, right? or make plans, or what are we doing next? What are we doing this and that? And
it's
like
exhausting.
It was exhausting, yeah, for sure. And even Miranda like sometimes comes back, wraps around, be like, should I be worried that you're not that person anymore? Like, are you satisfied like in this relationship? I was like, honestly, like I'm really happy with just chilling at home here. Knox is asleep. We had a great time today. We're doing things right. Like, you're happy. I'm really happy. If anything, let's just rent a movie, watch a movie here at the house and just chill, or we'll just make meals. And
well, tonight we have plans.
We have plans tonight for sure. We definitely make it a thing to once a week have like date night, whether it be go to a quick restaurant for a couple hours or watch a movie.
You've talked about the plans tonight every day for, I want to say, at least a week.
Listen, it's How to Train Your Dragon 3. How could I not be excited about this movie coming out?
Jaime was not expecting that.
DreamWorks has done an amazing job with How to Train Your Dragon. Okay, Little Tooth, or yeah, is it Little Tooth? No, it's
Little Tooth. I think is Land Before Time. No, that's Littlefoot.
It's gosh, what's that the dark dragon's name?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Do we need to Google it?
Yeah, can you Google it real quick? It's what's the Night
So
Fury's
he gets
name?
like the girlfriend in this one, and the white dragon.
The white, yeah.
They like fall in love. I'll probably cry. Julian will laugh.
I have like here are my fun thing. I like these animated Pixar / DreamWorks movies. They have a lot of adult humor where you can still take your kids to and stuff. And I'm a huge fan of the Marvel movies. Like, this is a great year for all that. We got Infinity War and all that stuff. This is gonna get really nerdy, but then I'm also a big fan of the John Wick stuff that they just started coming out with, the action movies. Super cool. Keanu Reeves is
the worst actor in Hollywood.
Yeah, but he really hides it well with how cool.
Because they don't ever give him a role that requires any sort of like character development. They literally are just like, don't talk, keep a straight face, and that's all of his movies. I have a really hard time with Keanu Reeves.
John Wick was so cool though.
The action, that's why though. If there was no action, if it was just watching Keanu, you'd be like, okay, well.
Yeah, well.
But you gotta know what you're getting into though.
Yeah, I almost walked out of the first one because of when they killed the dog at the beginning.
I didn't know what I was
getting into. I got really upset about that.
When it came to John Wick, actually. I didn't. Someone said you should go watch it. It's really cool. And
yeah, you're into it now.
And I was like, whoa.
You talk about it a lot.
I know.
It's very different than How to Train Your Dragon 3. Did you find it?
Yeah. Come on, Jaime. How do you not find that?
Do you even know how to use Google?
That should be like the first thing that pops up.
What did you look up? I'd love to hear it.
You're talking about the black dragon from...
Hold on. Yeah. Did you Google black dragon?
I did.
Well, Jaime, I think that may be the problem there.
Okay.
Then,
okay. Good to know.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, I think it's really funny when people get weird about when they walk into certain movies, like a rock movie, and they get upset about
that it's not like cinematography,
it's like that's not what he made. He knows he's not going to get an Oscar for this movie. I don't know, do they get Oscars or Emmys or whatever they get?
They get Oscars.
Yeah, he's not going to get an award for it, and he's making it because he wants to make it,
and he's going to make a lot of money, and he's good at it.
Getting into it's like,
yeah. I'm definitely not a movie critic. I'm easily entertained when it comes to movies.
Toothless. What's his name?
Toothless.
Yes.
That's yeah.
Hiccup and Toothless. Yeah, that's what they're. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I get really.
That's our plans tonight.
Yeah, so that's our plans. I'm really pumped about that. I mean, we have a lot of stuff too coming up. We have like your sister's coming into town.
My sister's coming tomorrow.
Yeah. So she'll be here a couple days, and then we have like more out of town guests coming in on Monday.
It's really funny. So my sister recently started helping us do some work for street parking, just remotely, like some admin type stuff. That doesn't require her to like know what's going on day to day here. And
she's the bouncer.
Literally, it wasn't, she didn't reach out and say that she wanted a job because she's like trying to make more money, or she didn't like, I wasn't worried about her and been like, we should really help out my sister. She reached out to Julian basically saying she was worried about me. And is there any way I can help her? Because I know how she is. She's probably so stressed out all the time. Like, what can I do to help?
Oh, yeah. And I was like, I took
my little sister.
Yeah, I took a deep breath in. I was like, there are things you can do.
Your little sister or your little sister?
My little sister.
What's the age difference?
5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So she's 22.
Nice, baby. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's been again. There's like things that go on every week. So many things, and that's why, like I said, date nights are so important because there's times even like when Miranda and I have miscommunication. It leads to like her thinking that like, oh, are we not connected right now? What's going on?
I'm really extremely sensitive. Okay.
I mean, yeah, but it's okay. You know. Yeah, Miranda.
Well, there's always just so many people around us. Like we're very rarely alone.
Yeah, so if when it's hard because if something is bothering us or something, we have to wait till later. But in between that time, like we could tend to be a little bit like a comment may come off a little rude or something, and then it's like, oh, okay, I don't feel connected with you right now, and then. Miranda will, like today, for example, she called me. She's like, I feel like, are we connected today?
So what happened this morning was I didn't know Salvi was coming to the house.
But here's the hard thing
about it. And all of a sudden
he
rolled in and I was like, what's going on? And he was like, hey, what's up, Salvi? Yeah, Salvi's here. And he didn't tell me that Salvi was coming over, so I didn't know. And then it got all awkward.
Well, because I was like, I thought you were in the group conversation where you knew when he was coming because I was like, we have so many group conversations on our phone.
Salvi's our guy that films the vlog, by the way.
Yeah, the vlogs are coming back. So that's cool.
So I was like, in my PJs, just making breakfast.
But I was like, it's okay. Like, don't worry. This is like morning is going to capture like what I'm kind of going through the flow of.
It was fine, but I was just confused.
And then she called me and usually when Miranda calls me, like I try to like, tell her like, no, everything's fine. And talk about that moment, which is kind of personal and private. But then I'm on my desk, which has like 4 people around me. And so I'm like very short, which makes it even worse because now she probably thinks that I'm being short with her. Mm-hmm. And then when I get off the phone with her, I'm like, oh my gosh, I know how she thinks. So she's probably thinking that we're not connecting again. And I was telling her after FaceTime Friday, I was like, I almost told them to wait and I was going to take you outside and be like, everything is fine. Like, like don't take things personal. I think a lot of the times that's the biggest thing is that's why, again, communication is so important because if I don't communicate what's bothering me, she'll think it's something towards her or that she did wrong. And I'm like, no, it has nothing to do with you, actually. And sometimes I'll even snap at her and be like, stop thinking everything's about you. You're not making me mad. But it kind of like, because I haven't expressed what's actually on my mind.
Yeah, because something is bothering you, but you're not saying it. So
yeah.
Like instead of you being like, oh, this and this, I found out this or this has been bugging me all day, you just like kind of go quiet.
That's right.
Yeah, and so then it's,
just, try to move on and let's see if not a little thing, but all those little things add up.
I thought he was mad because my discs are so much nicer than his.
I mean, they really are. I have disc envy. I definitely have disc envy. They're just like, just great filet mignons. Mm-hmm. Mine looks like a crepe.
Just a little pita.
No, not even. That's too thick. It's crepe. But yeah, so anyway, so just communicate with your other half as much as possible. Mm-hmm. Because Miranda, like I said, Miranda's very sensitive, and it's a good thing that she is. Sometimes it could, in certain moments, it can be overwhelming.
Knox said, I love you to both of us this week.
He did.
You first, though, I think.
It was that night when I put him down. I just didn't think he said it.
And then the next day,
he said it to
both
Miranda.
Both me and your mom heard him say it to me, so that confirmed that he had also said it to you the night before.
Yeah, so it's really...
But it's kind of like, he's so funny about it, because sometimes I feel like he's like a boy, like a young boy who's like shy about it, like, because he mumbles it. Mm-hmm. And then he does the same thing. I was trying to get him to say it last night in the bathtub. We were in the bathtub together, and I was like, love you. And he would just like look at me and get all shy and then like start laughing and look away. And I was like, what's wrong? You're so weird.
Yeah.
Just say it, bro.
Wait, is he clearly saying it? Or is he
Whoa, Jaime.
Whoa, he just knocked off. That tape's not going to work.
No. Or is he like making noises?
No, he says it. So he's like, I love you.
Says
like,
it low.
It's very
like not how he normally talks, where he like yells everything. It's like a low. He just says it quietly.
Yeah, it's forming. It's forming. But we knew what he was saying. It was really cool. Mm-hmm. Like, because I put him down, and he's like, night, 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 night. And he'll say bye-bye to mama. He's like, bye-bye. And then he goes down. And yeah, it's really cool, actually. His vocabulary is getting pretty big, and it's really cool.
He repeats everything. He definitely repeated shit when I said it the other day, too.
Possibly.
Definitely did.
Yeah. But yeah, that's... I feel like
that's like been our week. It's just been busy with like so many random like calls and everything, which is going to be for the next week, too, I think, and always. But for the rest of the day today, we're going to go work out. Well, you already worked out this morning.
I did.
But the girls and I are going to go work out, and then we're going to film all the workouts for the following week for street parking, all the demos, and then we'll do our date.
But the cool thing is that this will be on the vlog, a lot of that stuff, so that'll be cool. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people have been asking for the vlog to come back. Yep. So that's exciting, actually. Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah. Well, guys, thanks again for...
our random...
our little random...
No topic podcast.
Just what happens week to week.
Yeah.
With between you and I.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye bye.
Love you.
I love you.
I owe you.
I love you.